Right, so I've done the top 10 must own weapons, which if you've not watched, then please watch after this video because I need the watch time. So I thought it'd be a good idea to make the top 10 must own vehicles in the game. I don't think businesses are next because I couldn't name you 10 businesses that are worth it, but I could do a top 5 or even have 7, so that video might be made, but I couldn't do a top 10. Also, I'm going to be a bit more consistent lately because I'm trying to hit 1k by the end of the year. So let's get into the video. Right, let's get the most controversial one out the way. This will probably be short as everyone knows how well this does in a PvP fight. There's a reason it's been nerfed so many times. From the spawn having a 5-minute cooldown to the missiles being terrible. But I will talk about how well this does for grinding. First, you can store it in your terabyte for quick access as you don't need to wait about 20 years for your mechanic to spawn it at the opposite side of the city. It's a fast vehicle to fly around the map, reaching a top speed of 130 miles per hour, which will make going from your business to the supplies faster. And lastly, NPCs cannot touch you, which they aren't really an issue in terms of danger, but they can slow you down by either blocking the road or crashing into you, but with the Mark II's ability to fly, it just avoids this. You get 3 options when it comes to weapons. You can keep the standard MG turrets, you can switch the normal MG turrets to the explosive ones, which aren't really that good, or you can buy the rockets, which have been nerfed into the ground, but they're still the best option. The Mark II is hated for good reasons, but it's a vehicle you should probably own. Like I said, you can store your Mark II in the terabyte and customize it, but this vehicle has so much you can use it for. It's an absolute tank, taking up to 34 missiles, but the glitchy way armor works, you can end up getting destroyed in 4 missiles. I've been taken out with 1 missile while using the Avenger, which does take less missiles, but definitely not 1. But let's get back to talking about the terabyte. It also has both a drone station and a rocket station for some defense. The drone is very hard to see and can tase other players, along with a self-destruct that can actually kill players if they're near the drone. The missiles have a long lock-on range and can bypass lock-on jammers. Although you can't look down that much, it doesn't really matter as you'll mostly be fighting flying vehicles. Now with the Agents of Sabotage DLC, the terabyte got a bunch of upgrades added, including a lock-on jammer, which if tanking 34 missiles wasn't enough, then have a lock-on jammer to make it harder. Then you have a silent running module, which when stationary you'll be off the radar until you move again. And finally, you can add a master control, which lets you see all your businesses like the one in the arcade does. So you can just call in your terabyte instead of travelling to your arcade. This bumped the Avenger off the list as it was better than the terabyte until the Agents of Sabotage DLC, and now the terabyte is above the Avenger. This is such a must-buy vehicle. I recommend buying the Sparrow as a pool vehicle from your submarine as it makes a big difference. It becomes a very helpful vehicle when you're doing the Cayo Perico heist as you can leave your submarine in your Sparrow as that's where it's stored. This makes it a lot easier going from your submarine to the place you're meant to go. Now the other reason to buy this as a pool vehicle, it's actually much easier to spawn. Unlike your mechanic, it actually spawns right next to you. For the combat side of this vehicle, it comes with the standard MG turrets, but I recommend buying the rockets because they are the best to use. It is also the fastest helicopter in the game with a top speed of 168 miles per hour. There are some downsides to using this, and one of them is the front window is really big, which makes it easier for players to snipe you out. It also can only take 1 single missile to destroy it. Even with the durability on the Sparrow not being the greatest, it still is a must buy. Easily one of the best and most helpful helicopters in the game. Over the years of the Raiju being released, I've seen a lot of hate towards this jet, and the reasons are pretty valid, but it's still the best jet in the game. It's like if you took both the Hydra and Laser Jet and combined them, and it gives you the Raiju. It has the speed of the laser, and it's even faster than the Laser Jet, and it has the VTOL mode of the Hydra, along with a stealth mode which takes you off the radar when used, but disables your weapons for obvious reasons. Even with the weapons being disabled, the stealth mode can still be used very effectively. The weapons are mid though, as the explosive cannon was heavily nerfed when this jet came out, and the rockets aren't really accurate, but they are still decent. This is also the fastest jet in the game, reaching a top speed of 232 miles per hour, which overtakes the Pyro, whose top speed was 225 miles per hour. This jet may be hated, but it's still a vehicle you should own for all the benefits it has. Right, this is me being a bit biased here, but you've got to hear me out. I may as well add one thing I find enjoyment out of, but this is actually a lot of fun to use. Although the distance and being able to only fire from the right side is an issue, but if you practice using it, these things don't become a big issue. You don't need a second player to use the 40mm cannon, so you can kill players with this solo. However, you will need another player to use the other cannons, which isn't even bad as the 44mm cannon might be the strongest one. Correction, it's actually the worst cannon to use, so I don't know how I fucked up that badly, but please forgive me. The AC-130 130, which is what I call it and other players also call it. It's quite durable, taking 12 homing missiles and having quick countermeasures, so you have some good defense. Listen, this might not be the best option on the list, but I wanted to include a vehicle I generally enjoy using. I could have put the Insurgent pickup, but I've chosen the Nightshark, although it can go either way. This is a great counter for any vehicles with rockets, especially if they have a limit, such as the Mark II, which only has a limit of 20 missiles. The Nightshark is really durable, tanking 26 missiles, so you can definitely survive a Mark II attack, maybe even 2 because of how terrible the Mark II's missile tracking is. Along with being durable, it's also very fast, reaching a top speed of 104 miles per hour, which makes it the 18th fastest off-road vehicle in the game. When customizing it, you can place armor plates on the windows, which works similar to the armor Kuma ones, but you can only use the MG turrets on the vehicle if you bought them. For this reason I choose not to put them on, as I could use both the AP pistol and sticky bomb, as the MG turret isn't really great. If you're looking for both a fast and durable car, I recommend the Nightshark, but the Insurgent pickup is a good second option. The OG armoured vehicle, and it's still going strong. This vehicle came out as a part of the original heist update, and you actually use it in the Fleeker job, which is the getaway car. This will be the cheapest vehicle on this list, coming in at under 700k. All the windows are bulletproof, giving you full coverage with only a few angles where players can actually hit you. There are no weapons that come with the Kuma, so you'll need to use the MGs and pistols for your offense, which is fine because of the bullet resistance. This is also decently fast, reaching a top speed of 109 miles per hour, which for an armoured car is quite good. I would only use this for PvE, as no NPC is going to whip out a rocket launcher and blow you up. The Kuma can only take a single missile, so it's not durable when it comes to explosives, but for normal bullets it does a great job of protecting you. I didn't know how good electric and Manitech cars were until I done some research for this video, and I have now put a Manitech on my electric cars. Normal or Manitech cars can take 4 missiles, while the electric ones can take 12 missiles, which might be due to electric cars having a different engine or lack of engine. Yes, I do know electric cars run on batteries, it's more about the engine combustion. Another benefit is the ability to equip a missile lock-on jammer, so players will actually have to aim instead of relying on homing, which might be a struggle for them as they need to hit you 12 times. If you are using the ominous EGT, then you will need to give up the bullet resistant windows for basically more explosive protection, which isn't even a bad trade-off, as I'd rather have a vehicle have more explosive protection than bullet protection. I can't name all the Manitech cars because there's over 50 in the game now, but here are some. I still think this is the best for vehicle and vehicle combat. This is so damn good. It's quite similar to the Strongberg, but it's definitely an improvement and upgrade over it. The Toledo can take a total of 6 homing rockets and has extremely accurate missiles similar to the Deluxo ones. But unlike the Deluxo, it doesn't have a missile limit, so you actually have unlimited missiles. It also has the ability to transform into a mini submarine, which allows you to drive underwater, and unlike the Strongberg, it has a boost which makes it extremely fast and useful for avoiding lock-on missiles, as it can outrun a lot of them. It's really well in both PvP and grinding, which makes it the perfect vehicle to use in most situations. I wasn't too sure on if I should include the Cassa here or not, because it's more used for the Cayo Perico heist than anything else, but I thought I should add it. It does have some great benefits to it, and once I thought about it, it should be on this list. First, you have the option to store 2 pool vehicles, which I only recommend buying the Sparrow. Then obviously you have access to the Cayo Perico heist, which although it has a 2-hour cooldown, you can still play at least once a day. It does have a sonar upgrade which can detect both treasure in the sea or nearby submarines. It also kinda has a stealth mode where you just go underwater, which makes it harder for players to detect you. You also have a fast travel ability which costs you money, but you can teleport to a certain location listed. And lastly, it has a guided missile station which can reach certain parts of the city from the beach. I don't know how far they can travel exactly, but they can get decently far into the city from the beach. So if you're fighting a guy and he ends up teleporting to his Cassa, you will hear the guided missile scream. Right, so I actually bought the guided missiles and tried them for myself. It can reach the Vinewood sign from the beach, so yeah. Like all special vehicles, this is also a tank, being able to take up to 21 homing missiles. Not a vehicle I use a whole lot, but it's definitely a vehicle to buy for the benefits I've listed. And that will be the end of the video. Comment below what vehicle you would recommend to players. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and have a good day or night.